My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, the split between the faith which many profess and their daily lives, according to Gaudium et Spes 43, deserves to be counted among the most serious errors of our age. The same article then goes on to say that long since the prophets of the Old Testament fought vehemently against this scandal, and even more so did Jesus Christ himself in the New Testament threaten it with grave punishments. This is a rather amazing statement. Speaking in 1965, one would think the council would name communism, materialism, secularism and so on as serious errors. But no, the worst of errors is the gap we Christians maintain between the faith we profess and the lives we live. I will not go. The first son in the gospel account comes across as rough, impetuous, and rebellious. But like many with that temperament, he calms down eventually and thinks better of it. From the second son's certainly, sir, we get the picture of one who flatters, speaks with honeyed speech, but is superficial. He does not deliver. We can identify with both these characters as children or as parents, as lay faithful, or even as priests and consecrated people. Our word matters greatly in our relationships, whether in a family or at work or among our friends or with God. When we do not keep our word, we cannot be trusted with even the smallest responsibility. We become unreliable like the second son in the gospel parable. The father depended on him, but he assumed that he could easily fool his father. His word was meaningless and he lacked integrity. Integrity should be the hallmark of a Christian. God depends on each one of us to help him achieve his plan for the salvation of all people, just as the father in the gospel parable depended on his two sons. Integrity refers to the wholeness of character shown in a consistency between the words we say and the actions we perform, a consistency between who we are and what we profess to be. We should be able to walk the talk. The parable teaches us that it was the first son who initially said no, but then thought better of it, who actually did what the father requested. That son had undergone conversion. He had the honesty and the humility to realize his mistake and to change his decision. He became reliable. Perhaps too often we are like the second son who initially said yes to his father's request and then quickly ignored the request. We easily say yes to God without meaning what we say. Then our word becomes meaningless. The gospel reminds us of something we often forget. Words can be meaningless. Promises are empty when not followed by action. The first son is arrogant, but his action shows his goodness. The second son sounds cooperative but fails to keep his promise. The parable of the father and the two sons challenges us to be doers of God's will rather than people who pay only lip service. This requires that, like the first son, we are continually open to the possibility of conversion in our lives, and that we are honest and humble enough to change our decisions when we recognize that they are wrong decisions. The passage then is a call to conversion, a meditation on conversions. Yes, sometimes important conversions, one which can change our lives radically. Giving up a lifelong addiction, returning to the practice of faith after many years, accepting to be reconciled with a long-standing enemy. At other times, we may be called upon to make lesser conversions, ones that mark daily living, forgiving someone who has hurt us, shaking off discouragement, starting to pray regularly. We have said yes to God at our baptism, but can we say that we always carry out what God is asking us to do? Do I make promises to others that quickly go out of the window? My good intentions are not good to the person I intend to help but didn't. Can we be humble enough to undergo conversion every day and to change our wrong decisions? Jesus remained true to the word that he gave to his Father and to each one of us. That's what we celebrate each time we come to celebrate the Holy Eucharist. We are celebrating the sacrifice of Christ. May our participation in the Eucharist enable us to say yes to God and to one another and live that yes every moment of our life. God bless us all.